create sort of a webinar and a hangout during this time because of all the challenges due to the pandemic. We also realize that there's a lot of individuals who are working at home who sort of want to get a break either from their families or they do want to reconnect because they're alone. And we wanted to do this so that there's an opportunity for the people who are interested in Sitecore to connect at least once or twice a week. We'll continue this series every Tuesday and Thursday up until the end of April, and we're really excited. So for today's agenda, we have a demo that Hector here will guide us through. We also have a Q&A session. So if you guys have any random questions about Sitecore, anything we can help out with at a very high level, please let us know either in the chat or you can go to techguilds.com/Sitecore-dojo. You can submit an inquiry there. We are looking for topics to talk about, so we would encourage you all to submit an idea for a demo or just any random questions that we have. We will be sharing, hopefully later on as well, if there's enough interest, how we do a campaign in Sitecore, so landing pages and how to capture the information for those of you who are really new to Sitecore. And then also we'll look at best practices. And at the end of this, we have a small surprise, so if you guys want to hang out for that, we would love to just to engage. And finally, I will hand it over to Hector. So Hector, by all means, please take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Can you guys all see my screen? And okay, I will take it a yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So as Lai already introduced, we're going to have an agenda of experience editor and Q&A. So firstly, I want to talk about the experience editor first. That's a very new tools or a new section inside Sitecore, and next to it, we will see the content editor, which is like more familiar to all the Sitecore user if you have been sticking with the CMS for a very long time. Today, we're going to focus on this one. And as you guys can see, we have the, the Sitecore Launchpad. And here, when we click on the screen editor, it's asked me to log in. And usually, if you have your Sitecore like well configured, it will just bring you right to the home page. And here I'm using the 9.2 version of Sitecore. Is the habitat, which is usually will be used for testing for just like people on training how to use Sitecore. And this is a page that already set up by for the environment and for today's demo. So today I would like to focus on the ribbons. So this is a very powerful tools of the experience editor. It contains everything that you need for the content, for changing the layout of the site and also the versioning. So if we are okay and have no question, I'm going to jump into the first tab, which is home. I'm going to wait for 5 seconds if you want to add something. Okay, no. Okay. Okay, so for the tab, we have here the edit. So this is the mode of the experience editor. So we have the edit mode, we have the preview mode, we have the explore mode and the debug mode. So if you want to change the content, maybe just change this text, just change an image, you will need to use the edit mode. If you want to preview what you change, let's say I changed here simplicity, I just added text, just saved it, and then when you go to preview mode, you will actually see the change as the user, the end user will see. And explore mode is more for your the marketer, the one who want to see how your page will change, depends on the user, their persona, and all the analytics that Sitecore captured. So using this, you can actually have you have two sides. Just open it like from the side of the screen. You can actually like minimize it or open it here. So here you can change, if the persona of Sandra and Ian, so what will change how the content will change depends on how the score and the visitor information. It can be from a device and geo IP or any referral if you have a campaign code that bring the user to your page. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to talk about them in a very high level, and we may have like more demo if we need in the future. And then okay, so now we need to go back to the experience editor by just click on this button. Okay, and debug is the same. It's very similar to the explore mode. It's for the any configuration that you set for the page. If you want to check if it's working or not, you can actually use the debug. And here we have the component button. This component button is very, very like, if you're so familiar with Sitecore, you know that for Sitecore, it is for Sitecore page, it's a combination of of many components. And let's say this is, you can see here, this is the, I need to turn it on. Okay, we're going to talk about this later. So let's say we have, when you click on a component, it will bring you, if it gives you the name, this is a page teaser. And the page is just a combination of the navigation bar. You will have the hero banner here, which is the carousels too. We have the page teaser, and we have many, many different components. And by using this component button, you can actually add a new component into the page. And then we have the insert page, which is another button just to give you the it will help you to create a new page. It can be a page, a sub page of the current homepage, or it can be another page which is the same, level as the homepage. And then we have the lead page, we have the move page, we have, and then we also have the rename. So for the rename, this is just to change the name of the page. So you can see here if I open the content editor, you can see that the page that we're opening right now, which is the home page. So you can change the name of it within the experience editor. You don't need to go back to the content editor, which is another view, displays name. So for Sitecore, it's allow you to, so let's say you have a home page, but then you will, instead of saying home page here, you can actually give it a display name, which that is, let me just show you that right now. So what I will do here in the screen editor mode, I can give it a display name. Display name is, okay, we need to wait some time for it to show. Please feel free to stop me and let me know if I go like too fast. If something that I didn't actually explain well or clearly, just let me know. I will stop and this and explain it again. Okay, so it was a habitat. Okay. Good. Good. So the change is made, and so what we will see here in the content tree. Let me just refresh this. You will see that instead of showing home, it will show habitat. So this is a very good way to note, and you can actually see here the item name is still home, but then the display name is habitat. So it is very good if you have like multiple site and you want to name them different. Okay, so the next one is lock. This is just so inside core, when a content author want to modify the page, they tend to lock the page to make sure that they are the only one who can make the change to the page. why someone else will not be able to do it. I mean, when you are changing the content, and this is also a very powerful tool to work with the workbox and the workflow. So I believe that all of us are very familiar with how the content workflow works by going through the the draft state, and say that you need to get the approval from your manager, and then when it's approved, you can actually publish it. So we're going to talk about the workflow more in the upcoming demo. So content tagging. So this is I need to, okay, we're going to come back to this later. So publish setting. This is just a tool for you to, after you get the approval from your content manager, then you can publish it to the page within this Sprinter, within the experience editor. You don't need to go back to the content editor. So setting, this is also like you can configure how your page will be published, what is the target, and if you have like a lot of versions, you can actually use it to set the limit for the version that you want to be published. Let's say you have like version 2, which is something that you need to publish on April 6th. Then you can actually say here here you can set the date for it, and you can also set the expiry date for the version as well. So item. So this is the this version tab is for the version of the page, but this item is actually a configuration for the whole item itself for all the versions of that item. And target is just what database you want to publish to. Okay, we have the proofing tool, which is also very powerful and good if you want to check the spellings and of all the text inside the page, because we have a close button. Secondly, we want to go to the presentation tab. This is where Sitecore will let you know the layout of the page. So usually we will final layout is of course is the layout that you're seeing on the screen. If I go to final layout from here, you can actually check the order of all the component in the site, and we are waiting for it to appear. Oh, it should show you the this is the final layout is where you're seeing it. And if you go to share layout is so inside core, you can actually have one template, and then multiple page can use the same layout. And by doing that, we are actually give you the efficiency of how to modify a page. You don't need to actually like create a page from scratch. We can actually have a template for you, and what you need to do is just using that template and create the multiple page. And on the new page, you can change the order of the component. You can change the even you can swap this component with another component, so that the difference between share and final layout. Final layout is what you're seeing right here. Share layout is the layout of the template. And in details, if you click on details, you actually see like to the share layout and the final layout here. And in the final layout, you will see more information of all the component that's actually added to the page. And if you see something, if you see a number next to the icon of the component, that means that the component has like various variations. It have some personalization is already set up for the component, so that number indicate that. And here you can also like have a different layout for what the user will see on the mobile, on the desktop view, on the print view, and then also on the feed. So this feed is a very is a legacy kind of like function. So now I don't think people use like feed a lot, but we still want to like like if someone want to receive feed from our page. Maybe they just want to know what is the change on one component. They don't want to know everything about it. So this is where you will decide what the user will see when they want to get the feed from our page. We have alias URL. This is also good for setting up the redirects to the page. Associate content. This is the net. This is will let you know that all the content um, uh, that all the content item inside Sitecore that associated to this page. So let's say if you go to the home item, you can, let me just scroll this right now to make it more clear. So in a page, uh, sometimes we need to use components, of course. And then these component is using a content item, which is the inside call we call it the data source. So the data source is doesn't have to be a field in the same item. It can be another item that we store under the tree, and if we want to know that, okay, which item is being associated to this page, so this associated content button will let you know all about that. So practically, if I wondering if I want to know, like, where the top bar menu, where does that, where all the text here that's showing me, where does it come from? I can actually go into here and check um, where is that in the content tree, and then I can go to that content tree within the content editor and then change it. That's an example that sometimes I use it. And then we can go to the experience tab. This is like so I would call this a time machine. So it's a Sitecore time machine. You can actually use this to see what is the content will be on a specific date. And how does this work? So as I mentioned earlier, we have the publish button, publish settings. So here we can set, the time limit for one version. And if we have multiple versions, let's say I have version 1 from January to February, version 2 from February to March. And then if I want to know that what was the content like 2 months ago, which is January, I can just go to this time machine and then I change the date, and then it will bring me back to the content that's showing back then. Of course, we also have like 3 different views. We have default, print, and feed. So for some other Sitecore instance, we also have a mobile view. We can have one for tablet view, that how the content author requires, that depends on how the content author requires when they first set up the whole Sitecore instance. And then version tab. This is the version that versioning tool. So here you can actually know that which version are you in, and then you can remove the current version or you can add a new version. So let's say I add another version by clicking the add button here, and we just wait a little bit. Or did I click that? I think I did. So if you click this add button, it will create another version for the current page. And then let me just reload the page. Oh, I think it's created, but it didn't show. So here, let's say I just changed, just one text right here in version 3, and then I saved the change, of course. Okay. So here, when we have to compare compare button where you can compare like version 3 and version 1 to see what is different, and then you can choose two column to see all the changes. Like you can compare like two column to see what is different between them. um, of course it's not so it's not going to show the difference between just one text field, but it will show you the fields that is the fields of that content item. So so you can see here, this is the fields of one item, and then if you change something right here, so let's say in the version 3, I want to remove the display name. I want to uh, I don't want that, or it's need to display name, so I will change that back to home. And then okay, and because that's the fields of that content of that page, I can compare them. So here version 3, version 1, and then when I go to why is this not updating? But so I'm not sure why it's not updating here, but basically this is just showing you the alpha of the version 3 and version 2 by using that compare button. And then of course, if you want to remove it, you actually choose between removing just one just the current version, or you can choose to remove like the all versions. And if you follow the group, I actually published one article 2 days ago, I think, um, about we actually have two different types of version inside core. The first one is, the version by content, and the second one is the version by language. And of course that we need to if you it depends on how how many language that you have in your website. So here in this habitat environment, we have three different language: Danish, Japanese, and English. So for most of us, we can be French and English. So this is where you will change the name. And Sitecore has a very powerful translator, I think. Is, let's say I don't need to, I don't need to do anything. I didn't give it any translation. But if when you click on Japanese, it will actually translate the content to the English that you choose out of the box. And of course that you can actually have different layout and different component on each versions. So you can see here, this is the first different that is very obvious here, the logo of the habitat. If you go back to English, it will show you just the habitat text itself. Okay, and then the next tab is optimization. This tab is more for the marketer than the content author. So you can see here, if you can set up the personalization for any components, um, which is you want to show something different for the user that already logged in, or the user that already registered for an account. And you can actually show something different if the user is coming from maybe Quebec, or the user coming from another province. So this is where we will set it up. And if you we can also know that how many personalizations are already set up, version of personalization already set up right here. You can see I have like 4 different versions, and you can click here to actually set it up. And then we have the test. So usually for Sitecore, we prompt you to perform test when you have variations in one page, because as a marketer, you always want to know that how good your page perform, and with that variation, you want to test that which one is maybe attract more more click, and which one is actually maybe a bad version of your page, and it's actually like give you more bounce percentage. Sitecore will also suggest you how to test it, and you can also see the history of all your tests if you set up once. So beside the component, the personalization test for the component, you can actually like set up the page text test, which is running the more general text for the whole page, not just one component. And then profile card, where you can associate a profile card for your page. So in this environment, we actually have different pages. Let's say we have, let me just open this in the preview mode, and we can navigate in the page. So module, we have project, we have feature, we have foundation. Um, so you will see in here, let's say we have like three different lines of product. We have web, we have website, we have app, and we have server. So then it depends on which page you can associate a profile card for it, and then when user visit that page, they will have they will so their contact in Sitecore will kind of collecting the the points, and the more points that you have for a specific profile card, you will more for Sitecore, if you associate that associate your contact to that profile. And as I said, it's more for the marketing side of this CMS, content management system. We have goal, we have attributes. Goal is for, as let's say someone register for an account in your page, and then you can that user may you know um, like reach that goal in your analytics. So this is just where you can choose the goal that you want to associate to the use for the user to for the page that user trigger that. So this is where you will choose the goal that you want to associate to the page. And then view, the last tab that we have right here. Uh, so this is just like how you will see the page. Let's say I have edit. So this edit will show you, let me just like clear everything. So we have like a better view of it. So when you click edit, so Sitecore will highlight all the page, all the fields that you can actually change in the Experience Editor mode view and design. So by clicking this, it will let me just show you by choosing this component. Or am I in another version? Oh, I'm not in the home page. Okay, just go back to the home page. And then we have the navigation bar. We can use it to navigate around our website. So if you in a content editor view, you can actually choose the website from the content tree. If you in the Experience Editor view, then the navigation bar is where you navigate around it. You can actually see all the sub pages that showing right here. And then yep. So I was talking about the design button. If you can see here, if we the design button will let you know which so let's say, let me just choose this. Okay, if you right click on it, and it will give you more tools, like you can just see like more function here if you are choosing or like unselect this button. Control is also just a tool for you to, show or hide which fields that you want to. I mean, this is a field that let me just unclick that again. I need to have this. So control and edit, it will show you which field that you can change the content. It's just another way to show you. Control bar is it will show you the what is that? Why it's not showing right here?
Time check, Hector. How we doing?
Hmm?
Time check.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we already like 15 minutes behind.
That's
So
fine.
yeah, so yeah, I mean basically I just want to wrap it up with this view. So this view tab is just showing you or it would just help you to show or hide some the fields on the page that you can change. And of course that you see that this is navigation. And there's one very good point that I just before I wrap up, you can actually click on here to hide the bar if you want to see the page in the full view. Yep. Uh, yeah, I think I can wrap up the first one.